So this week we also have a couple of really special guests that are going to share their story with us this evening. These particular clients have been very, very successful in life, and they have come to share how this program and how the tools they have learned have been very beneficial in their lives and the successes that they've achieved outside of this program. So please help me welcome up our first special guest, David F.
Thank you. It's good to see some familiar faces. It's an honor to be here. It really is. It's a blessing to me to be asked to come back and to share my experience. What's working for me, my strength, the hope. Coming into this place, Elevate, I had come here previously one time before, and I left the day after detox. I walked down the hill. I lived down the road 4 miles, and I walked home. And, there were so many people that had tried to talk me out of leaving. And a year later, to the date, I graduated. I came through the program again and graduated. But one of the guys that did try to talk me out of it was, he says, get it now. He was talking to me, and I just was not ready to do it. I had so many other things that were going on that were interfering with my recovery. But I had to go around the mountain again. I had to go back out there. And while I went back out there, I caught several more cases. Definitely moved into a suicidal mindset, isolated. The wreckage was piling up. And I remember finally coming back on Christmas Day, and the decision to come back here on Christmas Day to give myself an opportunity to get clean, to get right. I am forever in debt to Elevate for, because they accepted me back. They allowed me to come back here, and I knew that this time around I was going to do it right. I wasn't going to have any reservations. Whatever they asked of me, I was going to do it. And that's what I told myself. And then about maybe a month in, you go through these little phases where you start to develop, these emotions that you normally masked with drugs and alcohol. And that's what I did. I masked the way I felt. I masked being able to express those emotions, being able to identify them and be okay with how I was feeling. But I started to go through this little roller coaster of emotional stir. Things were at home. I was on the verge of divorce. I had gotten a CPS case where CPS got involved, and they wanted to investigate the living circumstances of my children. All of that took place within the April of last year, when I should have stuck around, all in that, I think it was like 8 months. And I look at the damage that I caused. I look at the fear that I brought on my family, all of that. And how my wife didn't even want to be around me. She's like, don't even come over here. There was a restraining order against me. And the sheriffs were definitely on guard in my area, keeping an eye on me and making sure I wasn't violating. So coming here, I was ready. I knew I was ready. I didn't want to live like that anymore, and I wanted change. And so the biggest part of that change was getting clean. It was taking suggestions. It was doing what was asked of me, giving my heart entirely to the curriculum and not going half-stepping, or I was only going to do so much. And during that curriculum, somebody mentioned here about losses. I was able to identify losses in my life that were seasonal. They were seasonal periods of time where I used, drank more, isolated more, became depressed a little bit more. Everything was enhanced during these times, especially during Christmas. And being able to identify that through the curriculum kind of was like that aha moment, where it was an eye-opener for me. It really helped me to identify these areas of my life and be able to correspond those areas with why I did what I did on the days that I did them, more frequently. So that was big. That was huge for me. I remember going through the RS step and finally coming to a point, a breaking point, I call it, where I just started to cry. You know, everything. I mean, everything that I was disgusted first. I was disgusted with what I had done under the influence of alcohol and drugs, and the behavioral patterns that I developed over a period of time, and how those behavioral patterns actually started as a young little boy. You know, there were patterns that were already starting to formulate as a child, and I began to allow those to be ingrained ways of thinking, living, and they became my actions. But one of the things that I found very helpful was the RS step. I think that was probably most beneficial. It was like I had been carrying this guilt for so long, and I had not done such an extensive 4-step like that before. I'd never gotten to the root of why I was doing what I was doing, what the different types of things that I had done to hurt people, hurt myself, my family, and being able to identify that, put it on paper, and release it brought liberty. It brought freedom. It brought mental freedom. It brought freedom to my conscience. And you know, I look back at the amends step where I was able to make amends to certain people in this latter part of my life where I had hurt. Being able to do that, I was able to get a response that I wasn't expecting, and you know, that helped me to venture on back into society and to be motivated. Like I literally came here, I did what was asked of me, I conducted myself the best way I could, and I was honest, and I was honest with myself, and that's where it started, being honest with myself. And so all of these different things that I was ready to do helped to structure what I'm doing out here now. I prepared a place for me at an SLE. I didn't want to just go home. I wanted to slowly transition into my home. I didn't want to just come back and things kind of take off where they were when I left. I wanted there to be a demonstration of change, and I wanted that to come from my wife. I wanted that to come from her and say, you know what, I'm seeing this change in you. I want you to come home now, you know. And so it's been amazing. It's been amazing. There were counselors here that were just phenomenal. I mean, they're here, they're put in positions for a reason, and you know, I took advantage of that. I allowed them to give me their perspective on the change that they saw I needed to make. I had marriage counseling that was done here. I had one-on-one counseling where I was able to feel comfortable enough to move into this RS step. You know, all of these things were just, it was overwhelming, but it was like, okay, I only have this short period of time I've been using for this length of, since I was 12 years old. I need to get this done. I need to take advantage of every aspect I possibly can while I'm here right now. And that's what I did. And it worked for me. It's been working for me. I think one of the biggest struggles that I have right now is you know, being a parent, being a husband, doing the best I can to listen to my wife, be sensitive to her needs, being sensitive to my children's needs, meeting the obligations of parole and going through the necessary obligations that I have in this SLE, just following the rules overall. And I noticed that within myself, it's developing this integrity. It's developing a joy again. I had the joy, but I had lost it. And now that I'm out here and I still have these little trials, you know, financial trials here and there, but my needs are met. My needs are met. Every aspect of my life is met. I'm healthy. I'm sober. I'm clean. I don't have to put anything in my body to make me feel good anymore. And I could feel good and wake up. I still practice my meditation in the morning. I get up in the morning when everybody's asleep and I go drive to my house about 4 o'clock in the morning, and that's where I exercise my meditation. I practice mindfulness. I become aware of what I'm feeling. How did I conduct myself yesterday? You know, all of these different things I was able to get here. And I didn't have that before. I've been in many programs before. I've been in a lot of different treatment centers, but I never had the extensive help that I got here. And I can't say enough about this place. I am truly blessed. I'm truly thankful to have come around a second time and have the opportunity to even come back and share what's working for me. So I just want to say thank you for this. It's been a blessing. Thanks.